2:30 p.m. Pacific time, movement yoga. We'll get started in 2 or 3 minutes. Grab your mat, grab a water bottle, grab whatever else you need. Uh, Great thing about a live practice, you're live, I'm not, so you can have a lot more freedom to do whatever you'd like to do. And we'll see you in 2 or 3 minutes. Welcome again, Mark Cormier with Movement Yoga, 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday.
Hi.
Welcome, Josephine.
Are you live?
Prepping. Yeah.
Oh.
Why don't you set up just like we did yesterday?
This music is intense.
This is the pre-music.
Oh, I feel intense. Not relaxed.
The clouds are gathering.
Can I sit on the couch?
Sure. We have about 2 minutes to go. We'll get going in about a minute. Great thing about Facebook Live is you can communicate with me if I'm speaking too loudly or I'm not speaking loud enough. Quality of the video, all kinds of things. Or you might just want to say hi. So. That was Arvo Part, one of my favorite classical composers from Estonia. Anyway, we're going to put on a great yoga album. Big thing about music and Facebook Live is the ups and downs sometimes get picked up by the microphone, and then my voice goes out. You can listen to your music through headphones. Lots of good ways to listen to music, not necessarily through Facebook Live. So I'm trying to focus on my voice more, and the music's more of a background noise, just to give more of a mood to the room. So I'm going to put on a great yoga DVD here, or CD, Universal Om. And pretty much it's just various ohms that focus on various parts of the body, the throat, thorax, belly, head. It's all good stuff. And the person who put it together is Patrick Torre in 2003, and I believe it's out of France. Anyway, I'm going to start that. We have the connection. I'm going to dim it down. And let's get going. Welcome, my daughter, Josephine. She was with us for the Bay Club class yesterday afternoon. She's kindly volunteered to be in my class today.
I am a volunteer.
Is there anything you'd like to do today in terms of yoga, Josephine? And
Yes.
feel free to say whatever you'd like. We can take the practice in lots of different directions.
Not super push-uppy.
Okay, so I want to cue if people want to do the push-ups, do the push-ups, but why don't you not do the push-ups?
Okay.
If down dog, sometimes down dog even is a little hurtful to people's wrists. Feel free to find all fours. Feel free to find child's pose. All right, let's get going. I'll take my hat off.
Nope.
All right. Finding your feet. From your feet, finding your legs. From your legs, finding your spine. Relax shoulders, long through all sides of the neck. As the crown of your head reaches for the sky. Without straining the neck, I'll invite you to tuck the chin ever so slightly as we start to bring our attention inward. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart, lining up each finger, a light press of your thumbs against your sternum. Softening the eyes, perhaps even closing your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. And we can start just by watching our breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for our afternoon yoga practice. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath with a long, slow inhalation, matched by a long, slow exhalation. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the base of the belly, the top of the chest, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll invite you to keep two options, either keeping the belly soft, just letting the air whoosh out, or adding a constriction of the low belly in and up towards the heart to squeeze a little more air out. And that's also a useful technique to support the low back in any of our shapes this afternoon. To this deeper, fuller breath, I'll invite you to find the Ujjayi, or ocean breath, a go-to breath in many flow practices. A slight constriction of the base of the throat to add a slight sound and feel to your breath, often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. To this deeper, fuller breath, I'll invite you to find Jiva Bandha, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth. Hard to see, hard to demonstrate, but you can feel that tongue loop, that Jiva Bandha, throughout the practice. Great way to keep your jaw relaxed. And another great way to connect front and back planes of body. Finally, with your lips closed, a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you close your eyes, I'll invite you to open your eyes, hands by your side. Warming up our shoulders as we inhale the arms up overhead. Exhaling arms by our side. Two more times like this. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. Adding a forward fold. Inhaling up. On the exhale, leading with your heart as you fold. Take a breath to lift chin and tail. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms up and over the head. Exhaling, standing tall. Two more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. One more time. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. So Namaskar, Sun Salutation A, with and without vinyasa. I think Josephine's going without the whole time today, which is totally cool. Exhaling. Inhaling, finding length. And then on the exhale, either finding your down dog, or I'll demonstrate vinyasa sideways here, as we find yoga push-up with or without the knees. Inhaling either into cobra, the hips stay down, or pulling up into your up dog. And then exhaling back to your down dog. And another great choice at any point in the practice could be all fours. And then another choice, if your back's ready for it, is the child's pose, as you send sits bones back to the heels. Wherever you choose to work, breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. Welcome everyone, Nan, Bill, Kathy. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling. Inhaling right in the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more Surya Namaskar. If you didn't do Vinyasa that first time, you have an opportunity to do it the second time. You also have the opportunity not to do that. Inhaling up. Exhaling. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out either back to your down dog, cycling through Vinyasa, or making another choice instead. Always finding that balance between your effort and your ease. Down dog, I'll invite you to focus on your hands. Lots of space between each finger. Grounding down through the base of each finger. And then drawing the center of the palm up towards the shoulders as you draw the energy up from the floor. Relaxed neck, heavy head, or finding Jalandhara Bandha, a tuck of the chin as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you mindfully make your way front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling full. Inhaling, hands overhead pose. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one Surya Namaskar B. We'll keep it simple. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, and I'll invite you to open up heart and throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Feel free to tuck that chin for Jalandhara Bandha. Take a breath to lift chin and tail. And then breathing out, grounding down to the hands, making your way back to down dog as you will. You're just cycling through Vinyasa. Maybe you hold a plank for a couple of breaths. Lots of ways to work Vinyasa. It just means connected breath and movement. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes. Now stacking the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. And then I'll invite you to look into the armpit, trying to catch a glimpse of that foot. And then sweeping that right foot on through. Landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down. Hands can always find the hips. And then up and over the head for warrior one. And then on your next exhale, spinning the palms out, finding low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog as you will, either cycling through Vinyasa or stretching straight back. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Now stacking the hips, lifted leg straight. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. I'll invite you to look under the armpit to try to catch a glimpse of that foot. And then sweeping that left foot on through. Landing it lightly, spinning the back heel down, finding your balance, arms up and over the head for warrior one. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog as you will. You can take your time, find your flow, follow your breath. Welcome, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step. Or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, fold. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up as if we're bursting out of a pool of water. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of the palms as your weight collects in your feet. Or adding an isometric engagement as we press the hands together, elbows wide, shoulders engaged. I'll invite you to tuck the tail as you find Mula Bandha. Drawing the perineum up towards the navel, strong in our center. And then hands by our side. From here, let's step or jump our feet hip width apart. Boom. On the inhale, we'll bring the arms out to the side. On the exhale, bending the knees as we cross the hands in front. Inhaling, and then switching that cross. And let's do 6 of these. That was 1. Here comes 2. Halfway done. Couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up. And hands by our side. Let's bring hands to hips. Let's shift weight onto right foot as left foot gets light. I'll invite you to find a standing half lotus as we bring our ankle on top of the thigh. From here, as if we're sitting down in an invisible chair, we start to sit down. Either keeping hands on hips or hands find the heart. Either staying here or maybe we stretch those hands high. High hands, if they went there, can come back to the hips. We can straighten the standing leg. We can lift this left thigh high with the toe pointed down. Either staying here or without leaning back, going long through that leg. Lifting that leg a little higher. And then I'll invite you to sweep that leg on through as we ground the back heel down for Warrior One prep, hands on the hips. From here, we can bring hands to our shoulders to square our shoulders front, also just to remind those shoulders to stay relaxed. From here, clasp the fingers behind the head. We can press the head into the hands, open heart, open throat. And then stretching those hands high to the sky for our Warrior One. From here, on the inhale, without locking that front knee, I'll invite you to straighten the front leg, palms face back, inhaling as we gather up the energy. Exhaling as we offer it out. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's do 6 of these. Breathing in and breathing out. Halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one coming up. We'll hold, breathing in, breathing out, and then holding this letter W shape. I'll invite you to bring the elbows back, the hands come with, as you find more space in your heart. And breathing into that space. From here, let's turn Warrior One into Warrior Two. As hands find the heart, we can open up the hips to face side wall. You might narrow your stance just a tad. Classically, one has heel to heel alignment. Warrior Two has heel to arch alignment. But if that's too tippy, feel free to work a wider stance. From here, we find one long arm looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. Let me go sideways here for a different perspective. From here, I'll invite you to paint rainbows. Breathing in, palm faces back, inhaling. On the exhaling, Warrior Two. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Let's do 6 of these. Halfway done. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. One more to go. Breathing in. Breathing out, Warrior Two. And then finding our triangle, thumb and forefinger, find crease of hip and base of rib. Deepening that crease as we lengthen those ribs. We straighten that front leg without locking the knee. And then we're going to bring that bottom hand down in an appropriate place. Shin, thigh. If you choose the knee, make sure that knee's pushing into the hand as much as the hand pushes into the knee. From here, we can use that top hand to set the shoulder. We can stretch hand high, either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up to the sky. And that's called eye focus or drishti. As we hold the shape, with every in-breath, gathering energy in your center of balance, 2 to 3 fingers below the navel. With every out-breath, sending that energy out through 2 arms, 2 legs, both ends of the spine. From here, let's explore lateral top line as we exhale that top hand front, turning our heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we lift heart to sky. A couple more times. Exhaling. And exhaling. And inhaling. Actually, let's do 3 more. Exhaling. And inhaling. Exhaling. And inhaling. Last one. Exhaling. And inhaling. Now we're going to find a different shape here as we bring our hands to the back of our head. No twist to the torso, pure side motion as we exhale down and inhale up. Exhale down and inhale up. Let's do 6 of these. This is 3. And up. Exhale down. And up. 2 more to go. Exhale down. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. And then bending that front knee, let's come back to our warrior 2 shape. And then I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms as you find low lunge. And from low lunge back to down dog as you will. Again, that rhythmic movement, that vinyasa, lots of ways to work it. One of my faves, if I don't feel like doing too many push-ups, is to find a plank pose, hold that for a couple of breaths, and then take it on back. Having said that, if that's not where you want to be, just holding your down dog, finding that child's pose, maybe all fours, always listening to your body, and more importantly, respecting what your body has to say. Right on, Rick. On Nan, the prankster. Front down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath. Tail into that breath, looking between the hands as you step. Or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhale and fold. Let's come back to our chair pose. Knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. Either keeping that light press of the palms or riding that isometric engagement as we connect with our center. And then hands by our side. Working towards that standing half lotus second side. Hands find the hips. We can step or jump our feet hip width apart. Shifting weight onto left foot. That right foot gets light. Bringing ankle on top of the thigh. Sitting down in our invisible chair. Either keeping hands on hips or hands find the heart. Either keeping hands at heart or stretching hands high. Feeling the various gravity waves as they pass through the room. They're really there, I swear. It's been proven by science. And then we'll bring hands back to our hips. If they lifted high to the sky, we'll straighten the standing leg. We'll point the toe down. Now feeling free to stay here as we lift the thigh. Or going long through that leg without leaning back. Whoops. From here, let's sweep that foot through. As we come back to Warrior 1 prep, we can line up those heels, heel-to-heel alignment. We can square the hips front. We can use our hands to square the shoulders front and just remind those shoulders to stay relaxed. You might switch the cross of the fingers as we press the back of the head into the hands. Open heart, open throat, 4th and 5th chakra. And then from here, stretching those hands high to the sky. From here, breathing in and breathing out. And we'll do 6 of these. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Halfway done. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. 1 more to go. Breathing in, breathing out in, holding for a big breath into your heart. Invite you to bring those elbows back, the hands come with, feel the stretch, and breathe into that stretch. Now turning 1 into 2 as hands find the heart. We can open up the hips. We might narrow our stance just a tad for heel to arch alignment. And then finding 1 long arm. Looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. Warrior 2. Another great place to breathe into your center of balance. 3 fingers below the navel. And then as you breathe out, just sending that energy out, particularly for those outstretched arms and fingers. From here, let's paint 6 rainbows. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. 3 more to go. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding. From here, moving towards our triangle pose. Thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We deepen that crease, we lengthen those ribs. And then bringing bottom hand in an appropriate place. Sometimes I work high. If I have a little more to go, I'll work low. If you do choose the knee though, make sure you're pushing your knee into your hand as much as you push your hand into your knee. We can use that top hand to set the shoulder. We can stretch that hand high, either keeping your drift to your eye focus down to the ground, very grounding, off to the side, less grounding, or up to the sky. You can always back off. If you look up and you start to feel wobbly, just come back to looking down to the ground. Again, always listening to your body and always respecting what your body has to say. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts of the practice, is that connection. It's not necessarily all the movement, all the sweat, and all the breath. It's more just being in ourselves and feeling comfortable in that space. From here, exploring our lateral top line as we exhale that hand front, turning our heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting hand high as we lift heart to sky. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Halfway done. Exhaling. Inhaling. 2 more to go. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling and holding for a breath. And we face the camera here. So obscure Josephine here. And now we're going to bring our hands to the back of our head. We're going to take that little quarter twist out of the torso and we'll do 6 of these. Push-ups for our sideways. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Inhale it up. Exhale it over. 3 more to go. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Inhale it up. Exhale it over. Last one here. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Breathing it up. And then bending that front knee back to our warrior 2. 1 long arm. And then I'll suggest that big windmill of the arms as we find low lunge. And from low back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Moving through space with grace. Whatever shape you choose to hold, coming back to an even breath. Watching that breath as it flows in and out. And enjoying that reflection upon your breath. That's what makes it yoga. Any of this stuff. The breath is paramount. Wherever you are, always feeling free to stay there. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands. You just step or take a jump front. Take a breath to finally. Exhale and fold. On the inhale, let's come back to our chair pose 1 more time. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. I'll suggest a back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, standing tall. I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. Either keeping a light press of the palms as your weight gathers in your feet, or adding that isometric engagement, strong, steady, and sure in our center. And then hands by our side. Let's step or jump our feet hip width apart. From here, let's float our hands as if they're floating on water. And let's jump on our toes 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's hold those heels high as we bring arms overhead, palms face in. Facing palms out. Facing palms in. Facing palms out. Facing palms in. Facing palms out, and then lowering the heels. Hands by our side. 1 hand up, 1 hand down, and we'll twist from side to side. We'll turn our bodies to the left as we push 1 hand up, the other hand down. Inhaling through center, other hand up, other hand down. Exhaling and inhaling. Yes, or exhaling through center, or inhaling into the twist. And we'll do 6 of these. Halfway done. Two more to go each side. One more each way. And then back to center. Let's make bird beaks with our fingers. So 4 fingers and the thumb connect. It's actually a defensive posture. Yoga's all about peace, but if you're ever out in the street and you give someone a little poke in the eye with that little bird beak, they'll probably back off. Probably. You might have to go a second bird beak to the other eye. We'll bring our bird beaks onto our shoulders. We'll soften the knees and we'll circle one shoulder front for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and back to center. From here, let's bring hands on hips. Let's shift weight onto right foot as that left foot gets light. And let's find a baby dancer here, Natcharanjasana. So we lift that left foot up. We can reach back with our left hand to catch the foot. Little quad stretch here as we hug the heel to the glutes. Either staying here or stretching right hand high. Either staying here or starting to pitch the body forward as we kick the foot into the hand. If you have your balance, maybe looking past those front fingers with that steady yet relaxed gaze as we deepen the back of the heart. If you pitch the body forward, you can come back to an upright position. Right hand comes back to the hip. We can swing left thigh front with the toe pointing down. Either staying here or going long through that leg without dropping the thigh. Lifting that thigh just a little higher. And let's sweep that foot on through. As we come back to our Warrior One prep, lining up the heels, hands on hips. From here, squaring and relaxing the shoulders. Finding that first clasp behind the head, open heart, open throat. And then this time finding a tray in front. We'll do 6 of these. Let me go sideways here so you get a different perspective. Breathing in, we straighten the front leg without locking the knee as we gather energy in our center of balance. On the exhale, offering it out as we rebend that front knee. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Halfway done. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. One more to go. Breathing in. Breathing out and again, holding as we take a big breath into our heart. From here, hand finds the front hip. That's right side for me. Breathing in as we lengthen on the left side. Exhaling as we reach out. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, reaching out. Inhaling up. Exhaling out. Halfway done. Breathing in. And breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. I'll invite you to reach. And we'll find a twist starting with the wrist. We can slide to the elbow. Either staying there or finding your prayer hands. Either looking down to the ground, off to the side, or up past that top elbow with that steady yet relaxed gaze. We're twisted, we're balancing, still breathing, that full body breath, base of the belly, top of the chest, each sideways, both front and back planes of your body. And as you breathe out, belly can stay soft, but in this particular pose, you probably want a little support for your back. So I invite you to engage the low abs in and up towards the heart to provide that structural support. From our twist, let's come out easily as we frame front foot with both hands. Spinning back heel up, and now let's ground that back knee. Let me go farther back so you can see my foot. I want to unfurl that back foot so the tops of the toes are down. Let me come front now that you've seen that. From here, let's walk this front foot forward so that we start to stretch out the thigh of the back leg.
We want to keep the knee over the heel, center of the knee, in line with second and third toe. When you start to feel some sensation, some stretch, I'll invite you to angle the toes out once. Heel meets the toes. We'll take the toes out one more time. And then bringing both hands inside the foot. And then starting to bend the elbows as we stretch out that right hip. So for some of us, elbows will come down easily. Others of us, that's not happening. Be super mindful of that front knee. So we want to keep the knee right over the heel, and right in line with the toes. Generally, anytime we work with our knees, the safest way to work with our knees is to keep equal stress side to side, top to bottom. Some of these poses, people get over ambitious and they try to get to the floor. They start to sway the knee out. If you're really listening and paying attention, probably fine. As a teacher, though, I have to maybe err on the side of caution there. So that's why I'm really cueing that knee. From our lizard or gecko stretch, let's come back up as we straighten those arms. We'll bring this foot back in. We'll frame front foot with both hands. From here, let's find a grounded high lunge as we bring hands onto our thigh. As we press hands into the thigh, we can settle those shoulder blades down. From here, we can sweep those hands high to the sky. From here, let's bring hands back with our shoulders, palms face up. Let's take a little side bend towards that bent front leg. Inhaling through center, side bend the other, or side rotation the other way. Let's do 6 of these. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Halfway done. Exhaling. Inhaling. Last 2. Exhaling. Inhaling. Last 1. Exhaling. Inhaling. And then back to center. Let's find our bird beak hands. We'll bring hands to our shoulders. We'll roll one front and then the other for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then settling those shoulders one more time, hands high to the sky, either looking down to the ground, off to the horizon, or up between those hands as if you're holding a large glass bowl. Always think of Atlas in this particular one, holding up the earth. From here, palms spin out. We tuck the back toes as we lift the back knee for low lunge, and then back to down dog. As you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back.
That was so hard on my side butt.
That was hard. That felt hard?
On my side butt.
Side butt. Is that an anatomical term?
Yes. You know exactly where I'm talking about. You said it.
I do. Side butt right here. Most of us feel, this is right here. Josephine,
Oh, yeah.
it's right there, yeah. A lot of us, when we sit a lot, we tend to put the weight right there. It tends to freeze up and get stiff. A lot of the yoga lunges, we're trying to get rid of that stiffness in what my daughter calls the side butt. From our down dog shape, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath in. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step, or take a jump. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Now let's hold the forward fold as we toe heel our feet wide. Soft knees catching opposite elbows. I like this one for my side butt. As I rock it from side to side. Now taking that cross of the elbows the other way. Now back to center, a tuck of the chin. Let's bring hands under our thighs for the safe roll up. We push into the thighs as we massively roll our spines up. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. 2 hands high in the air as if you're holding a big ball. Now let's take 3 big full body breaths. Our fingers and hands can mimic our ribs. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then inhaling, hands to heart, and holding there for a couple of breaths. Either that light press of the palms as your weight gathers in your feet, or adding that isometric engagement as we connect with our center. And then hands by our side. Let's do a little faster movement here, and then we'll work through the second side here. As we jump it in, thin like a pin, out like a house. Thin like a pin, out like a house. Thin like a pin, out like a house. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. 3 more. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. And then feet hip width apart as hands find our hips. And we'll move towards, you messed up your mat a little bit.
I know.
It's hard on the carpet. We're going to move towards Baby Dancer, Natarajanasana, second side. As we shift weight onto that left foot. With our right hand, we reach back and catch the right foot. Find that quad stretch as we hug heel to glute. Length on the left side. And then either staying here or we start to pitch our body forward, kicking the foot into the hand to deepen the back of the heart. If you have your balance, maybe looking past those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. If you pitch the body forward, we'll come back upright. Left hand finds left hip. We'll swing right thigh front. 2 hands find 2 hips. The toe faces down. Feeling free to stay here. There's actually another martial arts place. You could always give, boom, little kick, kick. Otherwise, we'll strengthen our psoas as we lengthen through the leg and hold. Lifting that leg just a tad higher. And then we'll sweep that foot on through, lining up the heels from Warrior One. Let me go sideways again so you get a different perspective. Bringing hands onto our shoulders, squaring and relaxing those shoulders. Finding that second clasp with the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat. And then finding that tray in front, gathering energy to our center of balance, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Halfway done. Hey, Mark the cat. Inhaling and exhaling. 2 more to go. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding 1 more time this afternoon. Bringing the elbows back, the hands come with, breathing into your heart. Heart space is community, finding more space in our community. From here, left hand finds left hip, that's that bent front leg. We find length on the far side, reaching up, and then reaching out. Reaching up, and then reaching out. Reaching up, and reaching out. Halfway done, breathing in, breathing out. Last 2. Inhaling and exhaling. Last 1, inhaling up. And then reach, and we'll work the hard twist here. We can start with the wrist so it's not so hard. If you're still feeling it, finding the elbow, maybe staying here or finding those prayer hands, either looking down, off to the side, or up past that top elbow with that mixture of effort and ease. As we hold the twist, as we hold the balance, full body breath. There's the diaphragm, and I think there's 33 other muscles that work with our respiration. So just the very act of breathing in an intentional fashion, you can get yourself a pretty good workout. From here, let's come out of our twist easily as we frame front foot with both hands. Spinning back heel up, and we're going to ground that knee. We're going to unfurl the foot. Let me go back for a sec just so you see. These are tuck toes back there. This is an unfurled foot. And I find the unfurled foot is a more stable platform. From here, let's walk this front leg forward so we start to feel some stretch in the back thigh. You might take it a little bit further. If you take it a little bit further and it's too much, you can always back off. When you find a place that's good for you, we angle the toes out once, heel meets toes, toes out one more time. And then 2 hands inside the foot, and then starting to bend the elbows as we lower our bodies down towards the floor, being super, super careful with that knee. If you start to move it away from the heel and side to side, being really, really mindful as to what it feels like. Does your knee feel good doing this? If it does, be aware sometimes when we disarrange parts of our bodies, it doesn't happen all at once. It happens through repetition. So if you did this pose 6 times a day, my advice would be super, super careful with that knee. And if you never do it all, again, another great place to be careful. You do it once, twice a week, you're used to the sensation, maybe get a little more bold. From this place, the gecko, the lizard stretch, I'll allow you to come up to 2 straight arms. Let's bring this foot back in as we frame that front foot with 2 hands. From here, let's bring hands onto our thigh. We can push into the thighs, we settle those shoulders, and then we can stretch those hands high. From here, let's come back to parallel arms, the palms face back. We'll take a little twist towards that front leg. Exhaling and then inhaling. And let's do 6 of these. Now keep grounding through those back toes. Halfway done. Last 2 each way. The last one. And then back to center. Finding our bird beak hands as we bring hands onto our shoulders. We roll one front and then the other for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Back to center, settling those shoulders, stretching hands high, either keeping your gaze down to the ground, off to the horizon, or up to the sky. From here, let's spin palms out as we frame front foot with both hands. Tucking back toes as we lift back knee for a low lunge, and then back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or choosing another sequence or shape instead. Always making it your practice. And whether you're at home or in a live yoga class, hopefully we'll get back to live yoga class sometime soon, follow your own wisdom. You don't have to do exactly what somebody next to you is doing. You don't even have to do a close approximation thereof, particularly if you do a lot of yoga. You know your body, you know your practice, you know a lot of these shapes. And that's the benefit of repetition, a little more freedom to make good choices for you. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, looking between your hands as you step. Or take a drink. Take a breath to final. On the exhale, folding and holding. Now let's go wide with our feet as we catch opposite elbows and gently sway it from side to side. Relaxed neck, heavy head, getting into those hips. Switching the cross of the elbows, keep swaying side to side. And let's come up the safe way as we bring hands under our thighs, the chin is tucked, Jalandhara Bandha, as we slowly roll ourselves up. Now releasing Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock, as we lift the chin tall through the crown. 2 hands high in the air as if we're holding a big ball. And I'll invite you to find, I go really far back so you guys can see my hands. 3 big full body breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And then I'll invite you to bring hands to heart as we come back to our breath. Either keeping that light press in the palms or riding that isometric engagement, strong, steady, and sure in our center. And then hands by our side. So let's bring hands on hips. Let's go hip width apart. And let's work with our neck a little bit here. Neck work's so important. Neck's very close to the shoulders. A lot of times we get, I'll go sideways here in the computer position or the phone position. We get super frozen here, super frozen here. So the more we let those shoulders be loose, and the more we can let our necks move, we kind of free up the neck from the shoulders so we have independent movement. It's good for our posture, good for our spirits. And I know a lot of us, with everything online these days, are spending our time in front of these screens. So we need to free up the shoulders and the neck. So anyway, hands on hips, we're going to look up and down. So we're playing with Jalandhara Bandha here, the throat lock, up and down. Let's do 6 of these. Up and down. Halfway down. Up and down. Last 2. Up and down. Up. Now we're going to hold this look up as we enjoy a nice stretch in the base of the throat, 5th chakra, communication. And now finding a tuck of the chin. We don't want to just collapse. We feel like we're rounding up and over a ball. So we're lengthening through both sides of the neck, even though we're tucking the chin, finding Jalandhara Bandha. Also feel like your sternum is rising up to meet the chin, as much as the chin is lowering to meet the sternum. And holding that for 2 or 3 breaths. Now inhaling back to center, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Let's pretend we have a tennis ball on each shoulder, and we're not just taking our head, collapsing, losing space. We're finding more space. We're rounding up and over the tennis ball on each shoulder. So inhale to prepare. Exhale. And then inhale up and over one way. Exhale through center. Inhale up and over the other. And let's do 6. Here comes 1.5. Here comes 2. Halfway done. Two more each side. One more each way. Let's hold each side as we take it to one side and hold for that extra breath. Inhaling through center. Exhaling. Now inhaling into the side bend with the neck and holding that extra breath. God bless you.
Thanks.
And then back to center. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Ears, shoulders, hips over heels. Let me go sideways for this one. I love this one. It's the tortoise. I want to pretend like we're a tortoise sticking our head out of our chin as we come front. And then we draw it back. Just the head, just the neck at first. And then starting to do a little lean forward and a little lean back. Leaning forward and leaning back. Let's start to soften the knees. As we come forward, we soften the knees. As we lean it back, we straighten the legs without locking the knees. So we've got our engaged position, what's going on, and oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God. A couple more times. Forward and back, forward and back, and then back to center. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, ears, shoulders, hips over heels. From this place, let's come down and find a cross-legged sit. And I'll invite you to grab a pillow. Most of us have these in our homes. So let's not do a cross-legged sit. Let's do Tadasana. So Tadasana, let me come back here. It's like the butterfly pose, but the feet are nice and wide, and there's some separation between the heels. In our Tadasana, let's move towards Kurmasana. So Tadasana is a reference to the Buddhist goddess of compassion. I believe she has bright green skin. No idea why. Anyway, now we're going to move towards Kurmasana, a tortoise pose. A great place to stretch out the back and loosen up our groins. So I'll invite you to feed your arms underneath your legs. Don't have to get there all at once. We can work neutral spine back in the head in line with the sacrum as we hinge at the hips. For some of us, our backs want to stay right here. Doesn't want to go any further. Others of us, you might pretend there's another ball in front of us here. Just like we did with the neck, we want to lengthen as we round the spine up and over that ball, finding more space, not less, in our backs. Finally, we can find Jalandhara Bandha as we tuck the toes. There's a mantra that goes with this tortoise pose, this Kurmasana. I'll repeat it 3 times. Feel free to repeat it with me or just listen and hear the words in your mind. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. I go deep within to find all that I need. With every in-breath, finding more space in your body. With every out-breath, letting those groins soften, feeling a nice stretch in the low back. If your chin hasn't stayed tucked, I'll suggest a tuck of the chin as we unfeed our arms out in either hinging or rolling on up. From here, let's bring right foot in a lot closer. And feel free to come in. If your knee wants to be here, that's where it stays. If you want to find more compression and it feels good, that's where it goes. So find a place that works for your knee. From this place, let's walk the left foot in. Depending on where you are, you might catch either side of the ankle or maybe either side of the foot. And I'll invite you to lift that left foot on up. I believe this is called the stork pose, but I have to go back to the book to make sure on that one. And I'm not sure what it is in Sanskrit. Storkanasana. From here, any amount, I'll invite you to bring that leg off to the left and then cross into midline off to the right. And just your rhythm, your pace. Connecting with that hamstring, connecting with that hip. And then back to center, shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And I'll invite you to bring that foot back down to earth. From here, let's lengthen our right leg. We can use a hand on each side of the knee and flex the foot to safeguard that knee. We can bring this left foot in close, and again, it doesn't have to be super close. Make sure it's the closest that works for your knee. Once you find a place that works for you, I'll invite you to either catch the ankles or either side of the foot, any amount, lengthening through that leg as we find our stork on our second side. Either staying here in stillness or taking it out to the side and then past the midline. And just back and forth, like stirring a soup or a chili, trying to get maximum flavor out of all the delicious ingredients you put in there. And then back to center, shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And then we can bring that foot back down to earth. Let's do one more seated pose here, the butterfly. So it's like Tadasana, but the feet are closer in. And we connect the soles of the feet. Either keeping hands on our ankles, and we come back a little bit here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Or we can use our thumbs on the inside of our feet. And we can open up our feet like a book. Always very interesting to me. When I open up the feet, my hips immediately relax, which is interesting that the periphery has that much effect on the center. From here, they're staying here in neutral spine, tall spine, back in the head in line with the sacrum, or hinging at the hips, keeping neutral spine. And then depending on where your back is, you stay with neutral spine, or as if you're rounding up and over a ball, finding the rounded spine. And I'll suggest Jalandhara Bandha, tucking the chin as the shoulders move away from the ears, stretching out the back of the neck. From bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana, the butterfly pose. It actually translates as bound angle pose. We can tuck the chin if it's not still tucked. We can come on up. Let's use our hands to close our knees. And then long through 2 legs. And I'm going to suggest we roll down onto our backs. I'll go sideways here. Make sure you got some space behind you. We can bring our yoga pillows off to the side. We can start from tall spine, From here, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, as we slowly roll ourselves down. When we get down, I'll suggest arms by your ears, not too low. We want to keep the ribs soft and drawing in. Pointing fingers and toes, breathing in. Exhaling as we flex hands and feet. 2 more times, breathing in as we point. Exhale as we flex. Breathing in as we point. Exhale as we flex. And I'll invite you to sweep your hands to your side as we move towards our Shavasana. I'll suggest nice and wide with the arms, nice and wide with the legs, letting your thighs and armpits have lots of room to breathe. Scooting the head back as you flatten the shoulders. Tip of the tongue now neutral in the mouth. Still breathing in and out through the nose, but a slight part to the lips. Initially focusing on your breath, but as we hold our Shavasana, our final relaxation pose, even letting that focus soften as we bring our senses inside. We'll be here in relative silence for a couple of minutes. Here in this room, I'll call Josephine out and myself out of the pose. If you're at home, feel free to stay in your Shavasana. I like to go 10, 15 minutes if I'm practicing my own personal practice. And you can get a real deep sense of relaxation. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana. I'm going to ring these bells 3 times for us here in the room. Feel free to stay in your Shavasana. Those of us here in this room, I'm inviting you to wiggle your fingers and toes as we invite more prana, more life force into our bodies. Now drawing that energy in towards center as we circle our wrists and our ankles. A little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips as we invite that prana, that life force to move in towards center. I'll invite you to bend your knees one at a time as your hands catch your shins. And then using your thighs to massage your center of balance as you gently lift and lower your low back and hips. Stretching long through an arm, rolling onto one side, letting that arm serve as a cushion for the head as we share a long, slow breath here on the floor. I'll invite you to let that breath spill out through your mouth, softening your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. Keeping everything soft and relaxed, and let you push into your hands to come up and claim a cross-legged sit. I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with the hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin without straining the neck, so we've got the trace of Jangara Bandha there as we bring our attention back in. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and bow as you thank yourselves for practicing yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. Namaste. Thank you all for practicing with me. I want to keep this going. I teach for the Bay Club on Tuesdays, but I have my personal classes here. This is one of them. I'm going to teach another personal class tomorrow at 7 a.m. Pacific, which would be 10 a.m. East Coast. I may not have Josephine, which is totally cool.
No way.
I'm going to try to talk Kathy, my wife, into it. Having said that, it might just be me. But I would love to see anybody that
wants to wake up and do a nice morning practice, it's my chosen time to practice, is in the morning.